Kelly Wheadon. I just met you in March.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy? Like how fast our friendship has progressed.
Yes.
And
Very much so.
I think it's really quite amazing. Like, thank you to the Junos, first of all, right? That was a
Thank you
great
to all the
time.
winners.
Yes, yeah, thank you to all the winners. But yeah, I'm grateful to have you in my life now. We've connected on so many things so far, and I'm looking forward to where it takes us, as you had mentioned before. But today is a special day because we're commemorating Pride Month. And, I had asked you, do you know anybody who would be interested in being part of this podcast? And you had mentioned you. And I was so thrilled. So thank you so much for being here. And I'm looking forward to you, sharing your story and me learning more about you so that we can connect even better as friends. So take it away, Kelly.
Wow. Thank you so much. It was interesting, how we met and just it was in about a volunteer of being of service,
Yes.
and that's really how I wanted to portray myself and why I said, when you were asking about someone part of a community to be able to speak about pride, and I thought, well, for one, I'm actually so not part of the community, but
Yes.
part of the community.
Yes.
And I say that because many who do know me one way.
Yeah.
People who are meeting me now know me another way.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born female. And I have a hard time with the whole I identify as this or that and the labels because I've just lived my life.
Yes.
So I grew up in a very small town, and being gay or lesbian or anything, we didn't really know what that was.
Right.
And it wasn't something that was a negative. It was just something we didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
We also didn't have the internet. Yes, that's how old I am.
Yeah.
So I was like, and I reminisce back on that and I go, man, kids have it so hard these days. They have it easier because of the things that they can look up.
Yes.
But they have it harder because of so much of social media, bullying, and things like that.
Opinions, yes, the judgment, yeah.
And I've always just kept a low-key life.
Yeah.
So I don't blast my life all over. I haven't even really documented my transition, which is kind of funny. We started to, and then I'm just like, I just find so much energy into that. I'm just living my day.
Yeah.
Just living my day to day.
Yeah.
And I always said in the beginning, when I started transitioning, I guess you could say being a lesbian, which to me was still hard to say, it was, I'm just a better me being with a woman.
Yes.
So, I mean, yes, I've had boyfriends, and many of my male friends might see this and be like, thinking in the back of their minds, all of these things about them. My life is my life and my choice. It has nothing to do with a previous relationship or somebody's done something to me. It's just I am progressing into life with what makes me more comfortable being me.
And becoming a better version of Kelly.
Yes.
That's what I think.
Yeah, like I've always dressed more masculine. I mean, I guess you could say there was a phase of me being very girly.
Yeah.
And that opens the whole doors to the younger generations and things like that. And would I have loved to have transitioned when I was younger? Yes, 100%. I grew up with a bunch of boys, and I hung out with the boys, and I always wanted to be them because I thought I was.
Right.
Until society started saying, well, you can't play baseball with them because it's the boys' team. You can't play hockey with them because it's the boys' team.
Right.
Or you can't go into that bathroom because that's... So then that started developing self-esteem issues.
Right.
And I didn't realize it.
No.
But then I was trying to figure out, well, who am I? Who am I supposed to be? And you know what? That's called puberty.
Yeah, that's right.
That's not necessarily just being even transgender. That's just figuring out in life, where do you fit?
Yeah, wow.
So transitioning at that age, I'm glad I went through the stages of life I've gone through. And I transitioned at 40.
Wow.
I know someone who's transitioning from male to female at 70.
Right.
You know, I'm going to say everybody's transition is going to be different. Everybody's journey is going to be different. My story may offend somebody.
Yeah.
But I can't control that.
Yeah. It's your story.
That's my story.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say to everybody listening, that's going to be your story too.
Yeah.
That's going to be your path. I started going to support groups, and then I started realizing I was struggling with those support groups because of all the struggles people were going through.
Oh.
And I went, I haven't had that problem.
Yeah.
Or I never saw it that way.
Yeah.
So for me, and transitioning at 40, and I have parents who are in their 70s, I had fear of coming, I guess you could say, quote unquote, out to them too.
Yeah.
It was easier for me to come out to them that way because I respected my decisions more.
Ah, that makes sense.
When I was lesbian or gay or whatever,
yeah.
And I say that whatever because I was just me.
Yeah.
But I was a jerk.
Oh, really?
I was trying to figure myself out, and I was disrespecting my parents by, I'll be home for dinner, and then not showing up for 3 or 4 hours later because I was too afraid of being myself in front of them.
Yeah.
That I was around the groups of people that had let me be me, whether that's goofy or this and that. So I didn't want to leave. So that's also just immaturity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we all go through that.
Yeah.
So when I sat with my parents and said, hey, I'm going through some things, and this is the path I'm taking, and I'm going to seek counseling, I'm going to research, I'm going to do this. My parents flat out said, we don't understand.
Right. That's what I hear a lot. Yeah.
And I said, I don't expect you to.
Yeah. Wow.
I already had that in my mind. It's like, they don't have to understand, or they don't have to understand.
Yeah.
As long as they love me,
yes.
and I respect what I'm doing, and I respect them,
yeah.
and I respect the people around me, that makes the transition for everybody easier.
For sure.
And one thing I got from a group that I would go to, it was the grieving process.
Yeah.
So a parent is going to grieve the loss of the child that they knew and they thought of was going to happen in the future. And comparison like this is going to be probably a little hard for some people to take, but you've got a child. Well, what if at 17 they get somebody pregnant?
Yeah.
You're still grieving the loss of what you thought your child was going to do at an earlier age. That's it. They can still do those things. They can still be those things that you wanted them to be. But we also have to remember it's their life.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And it took a lot of growing up, and then redoing puberty at 40. But that's a whole nother podcast.
So did your parents, like when you were going through that, before you announced to them that this was happening to you, did you see that they maybe were suspicious, or did they find, like, you know what I mean? Were there signs that they knew, they might have known, or they,
Parents aren't stupid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that. Try to hide anything from them, it will come out at some point.
Yeah.
Parents will notice your emotional changes.
Yeah.
Parents will notice a shift in kind of your focus on things.
Yes.
Like, I've always dressed masculine. I've always had, I've had short hair since '93.
Okay.
So I've always had short hair. I've always been misgendered.
Yeah.
And it used to bother me a lot, because I'm like, no, I'm a girl. I'm wearing makeup. I'm wearing mascara. How can you not tell? And then I'm like, you know what? It's life.
Yeah.
People are gonna. Not necessarily, they're not doing it out of maliciousness. Some are. Okay, I get that. Some are. But I've started to kind of just have that acceptance of, I'm here to educate. So if somebody does and I'm still misgendered, my wife misgenders me more now than she used to, which is kind of funny. But it's because, what's the one thing we do when we say we're not supposed to do something? We focus on not doing it, so we do it more.
Yeah.
And if you guys actually understood that good on you, because the way I just said that was interesting.
No, it makes sense to me.
So when you say, don't call me she, you're going to focus on, every time you meet me, don't call her she, don't call them she.
Yeah.
And then you do it.
Subliminally, it's in your mind because it's stuck there now.
Yeah. So you're concentrating so hard on not doing it that you cause yourself to do it.
Yeah.
I just want people to relax.
Yeah.
And we're all human beings.
Yeah.
There's no way to treat somebody differently. I'm still unsure about the whole pronouns and labels and stuff like that, because I always grew up saying I don't want to be labeled.
Yeah.
Because you can have a group of people who are transgender who do some stupid, horrible things.
Yeah.
You can have a group of car salesmen who are just shady as can be, or a bad experience at restaurants. That doesn't make every restaurant or every car salesman or every transgender person or everybody part of the community
Right.
that whole group.
Yeah.
And unfortunately it does. It takes one or two people to ruin it for everybody
Like
else.
they're the example, they represent, that's what the public sees, and yeah, you're right, it's unfortunate that they think that way.
So I want to be a different example in business, in relationships, how I approach things. There's going to be struggles. My life is not perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I will admit, my wife and I are going through things because she is struggling with her identity in this relationship too. She got into a relationship with a woman.
Okay, so that I didn't know. Yeah.
So I was that. We've been together for many years now. But she knew me and got into a relationship with a woman. Now I'm transitioning more to my, I guess you could say, true self, or just who I feel more comfortable, my authentic self. But now she's like, do I want to be with a man or male representation or my? So, like I said, everybody transitions in one way or another, and straight relationships, same thing. Person grows, they get different jobs.
Yes.
They weight gain, this and that. And many people will be like, how does that have anything to do with pride or transgender? And you know what? That person has to be proud of who they are.
Yeah.
Whatever journey they're going through, the biggest thing is support and understanding, but understanding that not everyone's going to understand.
Yeah.
Nor should they.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Because I can meet someone who's transitioning female to male, and they're going through completely different things than me, and I can go, I don't understand because I haven't been through that.
Yeah.
I know people who have had different surgeries, and I'm like, what made you want to do that?
Yeah.
What made you want to go this way? Like, so there's so many different things.
Yeah, that's wow. Now let's take you back to your childhood. Did you, I'm just trying to imagine in your mind when you were going, so you already passed puberty. What were your thoughts when, for example, when you were in these other relationships you were talking about?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't know what transgender was.
Right.
I don't even think it was even really out there per se. Yeah. I had a feeling I probably, I was attracted to men. I like men.
Yeah.
But I think it was in my mind now I wanted to be them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I wasn't, I wanted the white picket fence, the family, but I wanted to be the father in it. I wanted to be the breadwinner. I wanted to be that support system. I wanted to have the pregnant wife.
Yeah.
So that's where my mind was. I didn't want to be the pregnant person staying at home or anything like that. So I knew my thoughts were a little bit different, but I didn't know what they were.
Yeah.
I couldn't go to a library and look it up because I didn't know what it was.
Wow.
So I just did what I was supposed to do and, tried to fit in, but I felt like I couldn't fit in anywhere.
Yeah.
So then it's a struggle. It's like, I don't fit in as a man. I don't fit in as a woman. Where do I fit?
Yeah. Wow. That's really amazing that you had that journey, but you needed to go through that journey, like you said. Wow.
I needed to make sure I didn't like this way of living.
Right. Yeah.
Would it have changed me? Would it have been different? I think I stopped myself from doing certain career choices, being female, but that was me.
Yep.
That doesn't mean other female going into the military or the police force.
Yeah.
That doesn't make them gay. That doesn't make them transgender. It just made them a lot stronger as a woman than I was.
Right. Wow.
Your mind's like just blown, isn't
I
it?
am. I'm blown away. Well, actually, so you're going to laugh at this. I watched 90 Day Fiancé, and they are doing major diversity inclusion. And so one of the couples, actually, it's been quite a couple now already, but one in particular, this American transgender man is marrying I think she's straight, just from what I've seen in the show. And she doesn't care. She says, love is love.
Yeah.
I love the person. It doesn't matter what, and sort of thing. So and he goes into detail about so many things. So it was nice because I actually got educated, which was pretty cool. So thank you to 90 Day Fiance for that. And just for including, all these diverse groups, which is amazing. So yeah, it's still blown away. I'm still, I'm just glad you're my friend. And that's
me
all that
too.
matters to me. Like, I don't care about anything else, but how we can all help each other, become better people, right?
I think that's what it is. It's just being open to learning.
Yes.
But it is interesting, though, that when someone comes out gay or transgender or whatever, it seems to open the doors to the most inappropriate questions.
Yeah.
Which I
Let's talk about that.
never thought of that until somebody else from the community pointed that out to me.
Yeah.
And I went, yeah, you're right. Because as soon as someone says, oh, well, actually, okay, if I say to someone, I was born female, and then we get the up and down look, because we know someone's trying to figure out what body parts are different.
Yes, yeah.
And then we get those questions, well, have you had surgery? Have you done this? And but it's interesting, because if I was to meet you and you're like, this is my husband, but I'm not thinking, how do you guys have sex?
Yeah.
I don't think of anything like that.
No.
Or, what made you attracted, or this or that, or what's in your pants, or what's under your clothes.
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
Right.
So I just assumed other people wouldn't think like that.
Yeah.
So when I introduce myself, and I don't introduce myself, hi, I'm Kelly, I'm transgender. I don't.
No. You're
I
Kelly.
also read a room, I read a situation.
Yeah.
For us, I necessarily came out to you because you wanted someone for your podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I could do that.
Yeah.
Would I have told you? It's not that I'm hiding anything.
No.
It's what does it matter what I do at home or in the bedroom?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And using a bathroom is using a bathroom.
Yeah.
And I understand people have fear with, men being in women's washrooms, and I get it too. I had fear. I still have fear.
Oh.
Because now, I'm putting myself out there that if I'm in a washroom and someone recognizes me and you're on a podcast and you're this, what does that do?
Yeah.
Is my life having fear in somebody else, and what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Just using a toilet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know there's probably tons of questions people have and things like that, and it's good to be curious.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't get offended by those questions because I do feel and understand that someone is trying to do it out of curiosity.
Yes.
Now, if someone's trying to do it because they're a little bit dirty-minded and they're trying to, I'm like, no, thank you. Those are some inappropriate questions.
Yeah.
But I'm okay to say that.
Yeah.
So I think people just also have to understand and be aware that it doesn't matter what your sexuality is. You can feel and understand if a question is inappropriate. Say it's inappropriate.
Yeah.
Because we, as human beings, need to teach other human beings what should and should not be allowed.
I agree with you. And I think it has to do with I go by people's energy. So I can tell how the conversation is going to go and how I'm going to respond, right? So I got a certain, as we've gotten to know each other and communicated more, pretty much almost every week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've started to get that comfort level with you, and now I feel comfortable to, even ask questions or whatever. And I'm not offended if you say yes or no, right? So.
And that's another thing too, is on the receiving end, you asking me a question, if I say no, to not be offended that I'm not directing something, it's just, at this time in my life, right at this moment, I don't feel comfortable answering that.
Yes.
Maybe in 6 months, maybe in 6 hours.
Yes.
Just not right now.
Right now. That's perfect. Yeah. Now let's go on to the work you've done. I know you've done some educational, speaking engagements and, talking about your journey. And of course, we'll talk about your work. So please expand on both.
So I've always kind of been in male-dominated roles. I was a journeyman parts technician by trade, built light armored vehicles for the military, oil field stuff. My dad was a welder.
Okay.
So I grew up in Fort St. John, BC, which was oil field country. But as my parents also say, it can also be very redneck country.
Yeah.
So... But I I had a great childhood. I had a great growing up. I've had a good life. I will say that.
Oh,
I feel
nice.
very blessed in
Yeah.
everything I've gone through. I've had my struggles.
Yeah.
Um, then I got into a career after my sister passed away. It's
Mm.
almost been 9 years now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I got into financial services. Something completely,
Yeah.
something I thought I would never do.
Wow.
I hate math, actually. People scare me too. So
Yeah.
that was, I'm like,
I can't tell that now.
I'm like,
but
I have to talk to people.
yeah.
And I just realized that there was so much we don't know.
Yeah.
And I needed to protect my family, and I wanted to make sure I had my stuff in order in case anything happened to me. So I took it as an approach to learn.
Yeah.
And then we were at a company convention. Everyone knew me in suits and this and
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And we had this thing called being a 2-minute speaker. So you go up and say, you know, what you're excited about, what brought you into the company, and things like that. And I stood on stage and I said, you know what? Business is business, and this is a safe space to
Yeah.
become whoever it is you want to be.
Yeah.
Grow to the best version of yourself.
Mm.
And I announced in front of 700 people that I was transgender,
Wow.
which scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm actually admitting it to myself.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing.
Wow.
So everyone stood up and they cheered. And
Oh, right
it was
on.
awesome. I was coming off the stage, and this gentleman came, kind of like pushing some tables and chairs away. And he's a big, bald-headed man, and if you're listening to this, you know who you are. I was kind of like, oh my God, I'm scared.
Yeah.
And he just grabbed me and he hugged me, and he's like, I had no idea.
Oh.
And I'm like, man, that made me feel so good, because I felt like I was actually not doing it for me, but I was doing it for everybody else too.
Yeah.
To give them an opportunity to feel safe, to say, I'm struggling in this area.
Yeah.
Or I have this kind of skeleton in my closet. How many people can actually do that at their current job right now?
Right. I mean, that's a great organization that offers that kind of welcoming space for you to be who you are.
Well, that's just it. We want to empower people to be empowered.
Mm-hmm.
So from that, and then I started joking around, and everyone's coming up to me and high-fiving me, and some people were crying. And then I sat there and I went, do they know which way I'm going?
Oh, that's a good point.
Because I was like, everybody sees me in
Yeah.
suits already.
Yeah.
They already see me with the short hair and masculine. And I'm like,
Yeah.
So then I started laughing, going, do they know which way? So
Yeah.
that's where my mind went. And I'm like, you know what? It's about being playful with it, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I can be a stick in the mud, and I can be very just kind of wound up tight, but it's like, relax with the situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if people kind of need to feel more comfortable, I'll make them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Through conversation, through communication. And I think, and with your podcast about listening to people.
Yeah.
It is about listening, but to the body language.
Yes.
To the facial expressions, to
all the gestures.
Yes, the way people swallow.
Yeah.
My wife, it's really funny. One morning, I'm like, "Are you doing okay?" She's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "You're blowing your nose differently."
Oh. Wow.
I could tell she had been upset about something, the way she was blowing her nose.
Yeah. Oh, I can get that. Yeah.
And she's like, "How do you know that?" And I'm like, I want to be attentive to people.
Yeah.
And that was a big kind of defining moment for me, is I haven't been attentive with myself.
You haven't been listening to yourself.
Who doesn't? Who actually does listen to themselves?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
That's probably a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast. Holy cow. Wow. So, when we talk about the organization and the stuff that you're doing, talk about how you're helping people like myself too.
Well, you know what? I'm going to say everybody struggles with money.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily mean struggle like they're in full of debt and this and that. But the pandemic has done a world of good and a world of not.
Yeah.
Like, it opened up business opportunities. It opened up, do things more online.
Yeah.
But people losing their jobs and the financial struggles that are happening right now. Typically, people will go into the bank and they need financial help.
Yeah.
We work with many of the top banks too.
Oh.
But the thing is, you're stuck with whatever product is in that institution.
Right. Right.
So being a broker of financial services, I get to shop around and I can kind of take that burden off people.
Oh, that's nice.
But being able to listen to what people's struggles are or journeys or maybe it's money traumas.
Yeah.
how many of us actually grew up hearing money doesn't grow on
Yeah.
trees,
Mm-hmm.
or retail therapy, or
Yeah.
don't tell your mom, or don't tell your
Yeah.
dad? That actually put things in us subconsciously
Mm-hmm.
to where our money matters are now.
Yes.
Money
Yeah.
is just a tool.
Mm-hmm.
I like to explain it to all my clients, my agents, to people I talk to. How many people have used a butter knife as a screwdriver? Everybody raise your hands, because we know at some
I
point
have done that a couple
Yeah.
times. Yeah.
Butter knife can be used as a screwdriver, but it's not the right tool.
Right.
Money is just a tool, and used properly, it can do amazing things.
Yes, you're right.
Used improperly.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually reading a book, I can't even remember what book it was, but it was about, say you're at your job and you really hate your job.
Mm-hmm.
You do your 2 weeks and you get your paycheck, and all of a sudden you blow your paycheck.
Yeah.
Is it because the money came from a job you don't like and you just want to get rid of it right away?
That's a good point.
So I was like, maybe we need to start thinking about that. So it's that awareness. If you can start enjoying it,
Yeah.
what would you do with that money?
Yeah.
So these are the things I sit down with people. And
Wow.
most people will go, oh, you're a financial advisor. I don't have money to invest.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have money.
Yeah.
Where is it going?
Yeah.
Maybe we need to save you on certain things.
Mhm.
Maybe you're paying too much in car
Yeah.
insurance. Maybe you're, you know what? Maybe we need to revisit your mortgage.
Mhm.
Maybe we need to help you get a
Yeah.
mortgage.
Yeah.
So it's all of these different things
Mhm.
to talk to someone about.
Yeah.
I think everyone should sit down with a professional.
Yeah.
My parents had an advisor,
Mm.
and after my sister passed, I kind of asked them, I said, why didn't you ever put your advisor in front of us?
Oh.
My mom didn't really have an answer.
Oh.
Like, my parents did very well, and they've educated us, but who's really listening to their parents?
Right.
Like, come on.
You're right.
We do to a point, but,
Mhm.
I mean, I was always told to save 10%
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
of my annual income, but
Mhm.
not many people are doing that nowadays.
No.
We knew about RSPs, but do we really?
Yes, right. It's
So
just what you hear.
It's a strategy, yes, but does it work for
Yeah.
everybody? No.
No. Yeah.
I like to say it's how many people have actually ever been on a diet. I'm sure everybody has
Yeah.
at some point.
That's a good analogy.
Not every diet's going to work for everybody.
Yes.
Not every workout plan is going to work
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah.
So they do need customized plans.
Yes.
So I like to get to know people on a more personal level. I like to
Mhm.
get to know you and your family and be
Yeah.
invited for Sunday dinners.
Yeah.
I say that and then I eat a lot too. But I want to be that. I want to be, embraced in people's lives
Mhm.
so that I can help them make the financial choices.
Right.
I've had a couple of my clients phone me up and say, I want to buy a car. Is this the right
Mhm.
choice for me? And I'm like, well, let's meet.
Yeah.
I let them talk,
Mm-hmm.
and I just sat there. And by the end of it, they were like, yeah, that wouldn't be good for me to buy that car. And I'm like, I'm glad you made that choice.
Wow.
I didn't have to make any recommendations.
Yeah.
They just needed to talk it out.
Yeah.
We can't always do that with our friends
Mm-hmm.
because our friends, we tend to live up to the Joneses,
Yeah.
whoever they are.
Yeah.
I don't know who the Joneses are.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like, and sometimes our friends don't want to see us succeed either.
Mm. There's a competitive spirit there.
Yeah. We want people to stay the same.
Yeah.
I want you to be the same person. You were the person I went to the bar with all the time. You were this.
Oh, yes.
So, like, to be able to change who
Mhm.
you are,
Mm-hmm. Evolve.
evolve,
Yes.
transition.
Yes. That's right. Wow.
So it is about different levels of, as we
Mhm.
grow, we should evolve as human beings. We
Yeah.
should want not more out of life, but give more
Yeah.
in life.
Yeah.
That's why I started to volunteer more, because even in my own business, I was always struggling with, like, trying to be perfect, trying to do this, trying to do
Yeah.
that. When life, just let it be natural.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And see, this is why I mean, okay, let's go back to my history of so many people trying to sell me life insurance and all these other, the financial advice. And it was that, I hate to say it, slimy salesperson kind of persona, right? And I found that they didn't listen to me. So they were just pushing that sales towards me, and it was it was a turn off, but I'm one of those people who maybe I'm a sucker a little bit. Maybe this was like 5-10 years ago. I was a sucker, and you'd be like, okay, just sign my life away, yeah, no problem, right? And then after the fact go, why did I sign my life away? That policy or that does nothing to do with it. It doesn't relate to my life, right?
Yeah.
So with you, Kelly, what I've noticed is, and this is what I say to, like I've said it in so many podcasts, I've said it to so many people on posts and everything, if you were going to do any business with me, if we were going to collaborate, if we're going to partner up, if I'm going to, buy your services, guess what? You have to get to know me.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what you've done, Kelly. You've
appreciate that.
listened to me. And you're like, and this is what I love about you is like, I'll say, oh my God, I have this, like, and it doesn't even have to be a financial problem. It could be a problem in life. And you have an answer for me, which is like incredible. It's like, I can't believe how fast you think, right? And so that's why I think, oh my gosh, everyone should know about you, because your style of just taking care of your clients and the people in your life is all about service and all about listening, and it just, you resonate with me in so many ways, right? So we've developed that friendship, and I'm so grateful for that.
Well, thank you. Was not expecting
I
that.
was not expecting to say that, but this is the way you were talking. I was like, I gotta say this to him, because it's just like, you are so different from the others, and that to me is a huge, that's number one on my list. When you said to me one time, you matter, Malida, I was like, well, let me see if he really.
Prove it.
And your actions have, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. And I just met you in March. You, my goodness. Like, it's just been incredible, and I'm so grateful. Sorry, I am gonna. All my tears are coming. So.
Well, that's one thing I took from my parents, is adding the value. It's not about pushing a product or pushing a sale. And I like to say, in around our office too, we do inconvenience people for their own good.
That's a good point.
To a degree, because one, sometimes it can come off pushy.
Yeah.
If you think it's pushy.
Yes.
Like me, if I feel like I'm being pushy on someone, well, how do I want it done to me?
Yeah.
How do I want someone to talk to me about a product, a connection? I like to say I like to connect people.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing I want to pride myself with, is being a connector.
Yeah.
I want to be front of mind with people.
Yeah.
So that's why when you reach out to me and go, okay, who do you know that is a roofer? I'm automatically going to think of my clients or my agents on my team, because I want to help them.
Yeah.
While helping somebody else.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to connect the dots that way. People who do podcasts, people who do marketing, people who, and then you invited me out to like adaptabilities, and then through that, I know some real estate investors. So then all of these things come about, and I truly believe we build our net worth through our network.
Yes.
But it's not just a one and done. It's you have to. It's like treating it like a garden.
Yeah.
You have to nourish it.
Yeah.
You have to build the soil is your foundation. So you got to make sure you put enough energy and love and all of that into that to help something grow.
Yes. Yes.
And I mean, I've had people where they come to me for everything, and then I say, hey, I've got this thing at my office.
Yeah.
They don't show up.
Yeah.
But then they'll call me like a week later, hey, what about this? And do you know this? And can you do this for me? And I'm like, I want to help, but at the same time, life is give and take.
Yes. Yeah.
And there are people who you can be around and man, you feel energized. And then there's people you can be around, you just feel like, I need a nap.
Yeah. Because
So
they just take and take and take.
I do limit myself that way too, because I'm also realizing when I'm of service and I'm allowing all the time, then I can drain myself.
Yeah.
So the important thing is like learning what you are capable of.
Yeah.
As in, how much can you take?
Yeah.
And then you grow on that.
Yeah.
And then you can extend yourself a little bit more. It's like working out. You stretch your muscles.
Yeah.
You have to break them down to build them back up, but you have to give yourself rest.
That's right.
I get peopled out.
Yeah, me too.
So I like these one-on-ones, but if I go to something where there's a lot of people, I might need a few more hours to kind of unwind and,
That might happen tomorrow when we go for a networking event.
100%.
Oh my gosh, that's supposed to be like, over 100, 200 maybe. So I feel your pain. I get that way too. Yeah.
And people have asked me like, how do you work in financial services? And, I'm actually an introvert, or I'm really shy. Perfect.
Yeah.
You'll be perfect in this.
Yeah.
Because I do find introverts are more aware. They don't want to talk as much.
Yeah.
They want to listen.
Yeah.
But they need energy or recharge on their own.
Yeah.
Where an extrovert recharges in a group.
Yeah.
So I would say anybody should look at being in the financial industry to learn. Empower yourself. Doesn't mean this is the career path that you've always thought of.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be.
Right.
But I'm finding new ways to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
It's putting me in front of different people that I never thought I would have.
Oh, wow.
You know, where I was building light armored vehicles,
Yeah.
we would have never met.
That's true.
I would not have reconnected with some of my friends
Oh.
if it wasn't, you know, life insurance is a big thing.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that, you know, when I started in the industry was because my sister didn't have life insurance.
Right.
But I also didn't ask about it.
Right.
Found out she actually did.
Oh.
So then that affected my entire existence in this
Yeah.
business.
Wow.
So I was like, what do you mean she didn't? So, you know, long story, it was just, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know unless you ask, but
Yeah.
how do you ask the right questions?
Yes.
So my job is to ask you financial questions,
Mhm.
ask you financial goals,
Yeah.
things that you want.
Yeah.
That's not me invading your
No.
your privacy.
Yeah.
That's me getting to know you and helping
Maybe.
guide you.
Yes, I was
Like,
gonna say.
I've sat down with someone going, why are you asking me financial questions?
Yeah.
My office is a financial brokerage.
Yeah.
You came here
Yeah.
to learn about financial
Yeah.
services. I
Yeah.
need to know. I'm not just going to run quotes on random
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah.
Because, but I also can tell people too, like, well, I can show you incredible investments.
Mhm.
But if you have a disassociation with money,
Yeah.
you're going to find everything that's going to sabotage that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to do things that will also sabotage it. But once we get you to where money's a tool, used properly,
Yeah.
it can allow for abundance. It can allow for things.
Yeah.
And we're not taught these things.
No.
We're not taught the mindset on things. We're not even taught about just sometimes even the self-care.
Mhm.
Some families are really good at that.
Yeah.
You know, culturally it's maybe good at it too, but not everyone's the same. So
Yeah.
that's why everyone can't be treated the same.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're right. And that's why it's important to listen and ask the right questions, because then you're giving what they should be getting, right? What they deserve, right? And not like, just making assumptions and such, right? So I think that's important too. So, thank you very much for this podcast, for spending some time with me. But I have a very important question to ask you before we end. And that is, what matters to you?
People matter to me, and leaving them in a better spot than the way I found them.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that I've always my perception of the way things were, I want to just change that perception for people.
Yeah.
And whether it's financial services, whether it's just people in general, people matter.
Yeah.
And it's time to listen to whatever everybody's going through. But also, I just want to say to the camera, to everybody out there, you matter.
Yeah.
And honestly, start listening to yourself.
Yeah.
Find out what you need and then seek it. But everything is within.
It is. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Kelly.